If you hate banks for some reason but you're too much of a pussy to rob them, well, I'm about to show you the next best thing. We're going to be robbing Galbank, specifically their ships. Now there are already videos out there on how to rob these ships, but they suck. If you want to fuck Galbank, you gotta do it vigorously. First, you need the target locking skill. It's a tier 1 skill that should be easy to get, and it's imperative for a couple reasons. First, it's how you can rob these ships without getting a bounty. Some of you might know this already. Target a Galbank ship, assuming it's far enough away from other ships, blow it up and take the loot and still have a clean criminal record. You can do this anywhere. Heck, I even blew up not just the Stormrider, but 2 UC security ships as well with target lock around New Atlantis, and yet no one cares. If you shoot a ship without targeting, everyone and their mother will hunt you down, as if you broke into Fort Knox, and your crew members will snitch on you. And unfortunately, you can't give them stitches. But if you engage it with target lock first, well, suddenly even your most stuck up crew members like Sarah will have no moral objections to helping you rob Galbank ships and will not rat you out. When robbing, I tend to ignore the Hulkers and focus on the Stormriders and Babylons, even though I've never seen a Babylon. The amount of credits in Hulkers isn't worth the risk and effort compared to the others in my opinion. If you've seen my previous videos, you probably know that I'm not the kind of guy who blows up ships. I like to take a more intimate approach. Besides, the Stormriders can contain some really good loot inside. Now this of course requires EM weapons. I use both EMP 500 and the Spark 750, although there are better ones you can use. The one downside of this is that you're gonna get a bounty, so it's better to do this in UC space because if you're in Freestar, you're gonna get both UC and Freestar bounties. What I do is I would get close behind the ship, lock on, then start blasting. This works so well that not only do I do this without shields, but also on very hard difficulty despite the Stormrider's heavy firepower. The only companion I know that will board and fight with you is the Adoring Fan. I'm pretty sure there are others like the more criminal ones. Vasco doesn't show up for me for some reason, and the Constellation members has this thing called morals. Can you believe it? Pro tip, I know a lot of people be hating on ladders, but they're actually very useful in this case. Despite the fact that they're ladders, it's a solid piece of cover that NPCs can't shoot through, so you can use it to lean out and take pot shots. Once you've cleared the ship and took the loot, which is usually around 15k credits between cargo and the locker, you can steal the ship if you want. Sometimes the bounty won't reset after you kill the last witness, so you have to reload the autosave when you first boarded the ship, or just let your companion do all the fighting. Another reason to do this in UC space rather than Freestar is because once you get a bounty in Freestar, the Rangers are way more aggressive than UC security, so you have to clear your bounty after robbing one ship. Originally I did this around New Atlantis. I would rob a ship, then land at the city because most of the ships despawned while I was robbing, take off and repeat the process. Then I went to Deimos because they don't do security scans but still has lots of ship traffic. After boarding and robbing, many times no new ships spawn in, and the ones that remain either fly around the star yard like a swarm of bees, or remain completely stationary, which if there are additional Galbank ships, might be ideal. The only way I know to fix this is to leave and come back. And once you tire of pillaging and robbing, you can head to Aquila or any bounty kiosk outside the UC and pay off your bounty. And that's how you industrialize bank robbery. Until I found a third way. I found this completely by accident, but you can rob Galbank ships without getting a bounty at all. But despite the fact that I did this many times, I haven't found a way to reliably reproduce it. What I do know is that when you dock, instead of immediately boarding, you get up and board manually instead. You'll know you won't get a bounty when the crew members act surprised instead of hostile. What I do know is that if you're hidden, you're guaranteed not to get a bounty if you board, which can't happen in this scenario without cheats, at least as far as I know. If you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe and ring that bell. If you get caught before you can pay off your bounty, you'll want to be able to outrun the cops, and luckily I have a video that will show you how to get a near permanent speed boost, which you can watch right here.